Mary, played by Louise Jameson, has formed quite the friendship with ruthless businesswoman Kim Tate, Claire King, on Emmerdale recently, and in the latest episode, they spoke about the problems arising in their lives. As the latter spoke about her romance woes with Will Taylor, Dean Andrews, Rhona Goskirk's Zoe Henry, mother discussed her sexuality and how she had hidden it for so many years. However, when she explained why she felt she couldn't be her true self, she seems to drop a hint about a very dark part of her past which could spark a new storyline for the character on the ITV soap. The conversation came about as Kim asked her new friend if she had found love again after her husband and Rhona's father died. Mary seemed to feel uneasy about the topic and tried to shut the topic of discussion down, only for her to admit she was gay for the first time ever. Knowing the newcomer needed someone to talk about this with, the ruthless businesswoman became very uncharacteristic and offered some support. As she went to get the pair another drink, Mary started to speak about her mother and Rhona's grandmother, who seemed to be one of the main reasons why Mary was never herself. "My mother raised me on a diet of rice pudding, God and guilt trips. There was only one way to live a life and anything else would not be tolerated," she said. "Sounds remarkably like my mother," Kim replied, to which Mary told her friend, "Back then, there was no representation. There was no one to say, hey, what you're going through is perfectly normal. You're not a freak or evil. You're not on your own." Kim said, "I imagine that must have been pretty scary. So I took that part of me, put it in a box and buried it deep in the back of my mind," Rhona's mother continued, before explaining how she carried on with her life. "I did everything a girl my age was doing. Got married, had a baby and lived a perfectly respectful life," she said. "Can't have been easy," Kim remarked, with Mary dropping a huge hint she could be a killer and has claimed a life in the past. "You bury something deep enough, it becomes the norm. Never goes away though. This little neglected part of me that I kept hidden from the world," she explained. Although she didn't seem too angry with her mother for having made her lock away this part of herself for years, Mary could be playing a poker face. It might not have been as clear-cut as she is making out, as Rhona's grandmother could have discovered her daughter was gay when she was a teenager. This could have led to a heated confrontation between the pair in which things escalated and turned physical. Knowing her life had been dictated by her mother for so long, Mary could have lost it and ended up killing her mother in the process. It would have looked like an accident, so when the body was found, there was no need to begin an investigation. Mary could have felt immense guilt, so she could have run away from home and never looked the part, as she said, putting it to the back of her mind. She would have thought she could have been herself when she left, but with society not accepting of gay rights, she would have got married to a man. He might have known about his wife's true sexuality and known she killed her mother, but having become best friends, he could have made the sacrifice to be by her side. How well do you know your British soaps? How many times has Unveiled been married in EastEnders? What is the name of Bianca Jackson and Ricky Butcher's son on EastEnders? On EastEnders in 2002, who accidentally ran Jamie Mitchell over in his car, which caused his death? How many times has Corey's Steve MacDonald been married? What happened to Emily Bishop in Coronation Street? Who murdered Maxine Peacock in Coronation Street in 2003? Which incident in 1993 killed off 4 characters in Emmerdale? When did the show stop being known as Emmerdale Farm? On what day did Hollyoaks air its first episode? What was the name of the much-loved Coronation Street pet dog who was put down in April 2020 after 14 years? 1996 saw the arrival of one of Hollyoaks' all-time bad boys and rival of Kurt Benson, but who is he? Who is the longest-serving character on Coronation Street? Who shot Phil in EastEnders? How many fires have there been at Corey's Rover's return? Get out of my pub, you're no soaps fan. You're either too young to remember the big lines or have better things to do on weekday evenings. Casual viewer, you watch them sometimes so you kinda know what's been going on. Die-hard fan, you love watching the soaps so much your entire week is planned around when they air. Now needing to tell Rhona she is gay, will Mary confess she is also a killer and this is why her daughter never got to meet her grandmother? If she does admit she has killed someone before, it could begin a storyline which would see Mary become a new villain of the village. Feeling as if she has to get justice for those she has wronged, she could become an assailant. The best part of her cover would be no one would suspect the caring granny as someone who is capable of murdering someone else. But will Rhona put the pieces of the jigsaw together and realize her mother needs to be stopped, or will she defend her mother, despite knowing the truth? The actress who plays Mary, Louise, has spoken out on her character's new storyline and how this will impact her relationship with Rhona. With Rhona not taking the news about her mother's sexuality too well, Mary said, "It's awful for Mary. It cuts her deep. She's hurt and worried. It leaves Mary feeling lost." Rhona's reaction is a knee-jerk one to feeling as if she has been deceived all her life. But it doesn't take long for her to come round and decide that she really should support her mum, rather than criticize her, she told Inside Soap. But will Rhona think differently if she knows her mother's killer secret?